Welcome back to this edition of Grizzlies Daily. I'm your host Malik, and we actually got a signing regarding the Grizzlies, and it's another forward. And I gotta say, no one thought this was happening. Literally no one. So let's get into it. The Grizzlies signed Olivier Maxence Prosper. I hope I'm saying that right. But they signed Olivier Maxence Prosper to a two-way deal, basically ending all of the two-way deals that they have, giving him the third one on the team. Obviously, PJ Hall was given one, and I want to say Javon Small was given one. I'm, I'm sorry. I know that three of the two-way slots are now filled. I'm sorry. But yeah, it is a interesting signing. Um, I had to do some research because I remember hearing about Prosper like briefly, and I mean briefly. Um, and it wasn't necessarily anything good. That's the thing. But if you don't know who he is, he was the 24th pick in the 2023 draft. Originally drafted by the Sacramento Kings and then traded to the Mavericks. He's from Canada and he played at I believe Clemson and Marquette in his time in college. Um, I have it right here. In 2 seasons with the Mavericks, he averaged 4 points a game, 2.4 rebounds, and less than one assist a game in 52 games last season. Um, yeah, he got waived, and it's something that I find interesting because when I did my research, he is someone that can bring great defense and yeah, pretty good defense. He's a pretty good defensive guy. And I couldn't help but think, with the wings that we have, I don't know why you would go after another one. I really don't understand this move. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a two-way deal, but I really don't understand the reasoning behind this move. Um, yeah, I got nothing. I really don't have anything. I mean, we're talking about unproven talent, not knocking him or anything, but we're talking about a guy that's really unproven, and it's kind of interesting. I mean, I don't think you need more depth in the wing position, or not the wing position, but the forward position. So I'm really trying to collect my thoughts here. I really don't know the reason behind the signing, but it happened. Maybe he pans out in the Grizzlies development system, and maybe he turns out pretty good. Who knows? Could just be another two-way situation where they just sign him on a two-way. I really, really wish I knew the details behind this, but I really don't, and it's really confusing. I just hope we're not making signings just to sign people. But the reason I say it's surprising is because on this channel we've talked a lot about Jahmai Mashack, and and along with a lot of people, were wondering when we were going to hear news about him signing a two-way deal. I mean, we're talking about a guy who was the last pick of the NBA draft, and it's really just surprising. I mean, he balled out in summer league. He showed great defense, not like the best offense, but pretty good defense. Great energy. Honestly, pretty good leader as well. So I really am surprised to see that he didn't get the two-way deal, but it's not the end of the world. Um, at the end of the day, Jahmai Mashack, it has basically been somewhat confirmed that he won't be on the main roster, but he will be on the Memphis Hustle. So if you go down to South Haven, you'll be able to watch him play. Um, yeah, I mean that's really it. But I do think it really isn't the end of the world. There's a world where you know Jabari Mashack really proves himself in summer league, and he ends up getting a contract or moved up to the main roster. Who knows? Um, Main thing really is, I think the reason they didn't give Mashack the deal is because I guess they feel like he's not ready yet, which at the end of the day is kind of interesting because a lot of people on two ways aren't ready yet. So I really can't find a good reason. I'm just thinking of the reason that they would probably give for it. Yeah, very very interesting concept, but that's the reality. Jemai Mashack did not get a two-way deal, so um, we just gotta move on. We got to move on and hope that he pans out pretty good, and just go on from there. So that's really all I got on that. Hopefully, we hear some more news on this signing and the future of Jahmai Mashack, because a lot of people are interested in it. I'm interested in it, and I want him to prosper because he's pretty good. He's a pretty good player. Now, into some slightly sad news, but actually pretty good news as of about a few minutes ago. Um, there's a EuroLeague game that we talked about, Spain versus Greece, um, and Santi Aldama. He's the main scorer for Spain. Pretty much, he's the guy that they look on to score. It was put out on Twitter because, like I said, I really have no way to watch these games. Um, there's a there was a tweet basically showing a screenshot that Giannis kind of undercut Santi Aldama in the landing space when he shot a three, and looked like he sprained his ankle. But as I'm reading right now, the injury wasn't that bad, and Santi continued to play. So maybe that's good news. That's really good news. Hopefully, it's not something that develops over time, because we've seen that before, where a small move ends up becoming a big injury that we're not really expecting, kind of thing. So, yeah. I mean, just glad he's not hurt. Just glad he's not hurt, because the last thing we want for the Grizzlies is more injuries, and then we actually put those two-way players into a role that they're probably not ready for. But good news is Santi Aldama is okay. Before we get out of here, did see the Out the Mud podcast. There was I believe Rudy Gay, Tony Allen, and Zach Randolph. I want to say, I'm not too sure, but basically on the Out the Mud podcast, Marc Gasol. If you've been following the Grizzlies for a long time, you got the gritty grind team with Mike Conley, Zach Randolph, Tony Allen, and Rudy Gay, and Marc Gasol, of course. There was basically talks that Rudy Gay Tony Allen said it himself. If you remember 2011, Rudy Gay got hurt, and that really hurt the Grizzlies in the long run and kind of affected their chances going forward. But basically, Marc Gasol and Tony Allen really gone on record saying that the Grizzlies could have won it all with Rudy Gay, and it's not something that, in hindsight, to the average fan, they're going to say it's a ridiculous take. They're going to say it's a ridiculous take, but it's really not. And I'm going to prove to you why it's not a ridiculous take for the Grizzlies to say that, they would have won it all in 2011. So if we go to 2011, this is the team that won. I want to say this is the team that upset the Spurs. This same team upset the Spurs in round one as an 8th seed. They went 46 and 36 this year, and they lost in the Western Conference semifinals, I believe, to the Thunder. I want to say. I'm pulling it up right here as we speak. So we right here with it. Things happen. This is not live, but it's live for me. So, yeah, they lost to the Thunder in 7. Yeah, they lost to the Thunder in 7. And in this series, it really hurt that Rudy Gay wasn't playing. So, you got a team that essentially upset the number 1 seed Spurs with Tim Duncan and all those guys. Then they take Oklahoma City to 7 games. A team that didn't really fare well against the Mavericks in the next round, but they're young, and then the next year they end up making the finals. It is wild to me to think that, a lot of people don't consider this. I mean, because if we look at this stretch of 3 years for the Grizzlies, we got 2010-2011 season, you make it to the second round, you lose in 7. Make it next year to the playoffs, you lose in the first round. Then the next year after that, you make the Western Conference Finals. Keep in mind, in 2011-2012, I believe that's when we traded Rudy Gay. Or it might be 2012-2013, I'm not sure. But one of those years we traded Rudy Gay. If Rudy Gay is healthy for that year, we're talking a completely different ball game. And Like I said, a lot of people don't take that into account. I mean, Rudy Gay played in 54 games, and he averaged 19 points, 20 points a game. And he wasn't even the leading scorer. It was Zach Randolph. So, I saw that and I was just like, man, that's really rough to hear because, you know, that team could have really won it all, and we wouldn't be scrambling for that first championship. But here we are now, and we're hoping that this year's team can get it done. So hopefully those guys talk to this year's team, and we can see really good results going forward. But as for this edition of Grizzlies Daily, that is a wrap. That's all I got. Like I said, I'm going to be looking into our boy Olivier Prosper, see if I can find anything out in any news regarding Jahmai Mashack going forward. But like I said, he is basically going to be in South Haven playing for the Memphis Hustle. So we can expect to see that. So if you like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on those post notifications so you get notified when we upload again. And as for this edition of Grizzlies Daily, I'll be signing off.